What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with the review for Greenleaf Season 4, Episode number 9. And the episode was titled God's Justice. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into tonight's video. Alright, so I'm going to start up with this thing that really seemed kind of out of place for this episode. So, we saw a scene where it was Nikki, it was Zora, and it was Sophia. They were in, Zora's little cabin. So, Nikki is online and she notices that Dante is having this party for his grand opening of his bar. And she's in her feelings because Dante didn't invite her. And then they're trying to figure out, like, so why are you showing your feelings? She was like, because he didn't invite me and I'm the one that helped him with everything. And, Zora's like, okay, well, why don't you go? She says, no, I wanted to be invited there. And then, Sophia was like, well, maybe he got conflicted. So then Nikki and Sophia got into it with each other, and I'm like, okay. And then Sophia gets up and she says, you know what, I'm leaving. Because Zora's like, so I thought we were going to have dinner tonight. She's like, you two can't have, I'm not really hungry, so I'm going to peace out. So then Zora and Nikki are still there, and they're trying to, they're like, okay, we gonna go to the party, and they're trying to figure out what to wear. So then we do see Zora and Nikki, so they go to the party, and who do they see there? Sophia's there. So then, Nikki's like, wait a minute, so she's here. She's like, you weren't hungry, huh? But I see that you are thirsty, however. So then they kind of get going a little bit back and forth with each other. And, security comes and escorts Sophia and, not Sophia, but Zora and Nikki out. So, here we go. So then Zora went up to, the next day or next night, whichever one. Zora went up to Sophia and asked her, like, so what was up with that, like, you at Dante's party? And Sophia was like, well, yeah, I mean, number one, he broke up with her, so that ain't got shit to do with me. She's not my friend. And, again, she's not her friend, so that ain't none of her concern. And then, so Zora was like, well, you ain't making no friends with no girls because, I mean, you cutting your eyes at them. And if you're not doing cutting your eyes at them, you going after their ex-guys. And then she called her a hoe. I'm like, so she's a hoe for, I mean, she didn't sleep, we don't know if she slept with him. And because she flirted with him, that makes her a hoe. Okay, Zora, if you say so. I don't understand how that came about, but if Zora wants to call Sophia a hoe, I'm guessing Sophia's a hoe. So let's move on, you guys. All right, so next let's talk about Grace. So we see the episode actually open up with Grace in her office, and she's talking to Judy, Phil, and Bad Wig Connie. So they're talking about these. They need these seats that they need for Harmony and Hope to have the majority with those 12 seats. Well, actually, it wouldn't be a majority; they would be equal. So they're talking to Clara. And they're trying to, get Clara to, in the next board meeting to say yay for this additional 12 seats. And she's like, but, what about that whole speech that May gave at that party? And they're telling her, like, no, don't worry about that. So Clara's like, you know what? Okay, I got this. I'll say yes. So then, once that's over, Judy and Connie, they leave. So Lady May calls, and then Grace tells her that we got Clara to sign on to saying yes, and then she tells Lady May tells Grace that Bishop is heading to Bad with Connie to appeal to her reason. And then we see Phil come into the office. So Phil comes in and tells Grace, like, I need you to resign because I have proof that you lied on behalf of AJ to the cops about, where he was the night that pharmacy got robbed. And she was just looking at him, and he was like, and if you don't do what I say, like, I will tell everybody what you did. I'll go to the cops, give them the proof that I have. He says, you know what? And you have until Sunday to make that decision. I said, oh, I would love this. I just really just want to wrap my hands around Charity's neck and just strangle the life out of Charity. Oh, that dumbass. So then we see Grace. She goes to the devil herself and asks her, like, what proof does Phil have? And Charity's like, oh my God, Grace, I don't know what Phil has. Because, when Phil and I are at home, we don't talk about work. And when we're at work, we don't talk about our personal lives. And I'm like, you lying sack of shit. Like, it is clearly obvious that you told Phil everything. Like, you can't even lie well because it's just that blatantly obvious. So and then she tries to tell Grace like you shouldn't have lied because this is now all on you. And I'm like, wow. I mean, you are correct. This is on Grace for lying, but you didn't have to facilitate this crap. Like, you could have kept your big ass mouth shut. But it's just this vendetta she has against Grace, and it just bothers me to no avail. Like, really, Charity? You hate your sister that much that you will sell out your whole entire family to a man that you don't 100% know. But okay, Charity, God's gonna get you back in the long run. And then when Grace left out the office, you could see her, and she's like, oh, the look on her face was like, what have I done? Yeah, you sold your family out for what? For what? So then we see Grace and Sophia. So Sophia is trying to call AJ. She's not getting AJ, and she is going to his voicemail. And so she tells him, like, my mom needs to talk to you. She says, I know that you are still mad at her for not keeping you when she gave birth to you, and you just blame her for a lot of stuff. But she's looking at going to jail, and she would like to talk to you to know what the truth is. And she's like, I didn't do anything to you, so I shouldn't have to suffer what's going on. And so then she leaves that voicemail. She's, like I said, she's pleading to him. And then she tells Grace, you know what, Mom, I'm not going back to Hampton. I'm staying here with you. And Grace is like, no. She's like, it was only for 6 weeks that I've done 3 weeks already, and I can just go back when the normal school year start. So I'm like, okay. Grace, 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 you have gotten yourself in a lot of crap. And it's a 50-50. I blame Grace for lying for AJ, but also, like I said, Charity has some part in this as well. If nothing, Charity holds a big part in this. Like, why would you take? I mean, I get it. You got issues with your sister, but why would you sit there and take this information to the ops? Like, are you serious? You dumbass. All right, you guys. So next, let's move over to the bishop. So like I said earlier, Bishop was going to go and try to appeal to Connie's reason. So, he goes to talk to Connie. And Connie, when she get out the car, bad wig, Connie. That wig is horrible. So, she got out the car. He's trying to talk to her. And she's like, James, when are you and Meg gonna get it? Like, that thing, what she did at your party, excuse me, was absolutely embarrassing. And when you guys gonna get it? That you don't have, you guys don't call any shots. You don't have any say so in anything. When you guys are gonna get that through your thick heads? So Bishop is not listening to it because she's I don't want to hear any of them big words that you use, Bishop. Like, save it for somebody who cares. It's not me. So say that. So save it, save it, save it. So where am I at? Damn it, I lost myself. Oh, so then she tells basically told Bishop that Grace, she's on board with everything, and he's like, yeah, she's I forgot what exactly he said about Grace, but she also says she's bringing the church back from where May and Bishop had it, and she's trying to rewrite the history books basically, and he was like, the history books, Connie, where would you be in the history books? You're for taking a bribe from Hope and Harmony to give the church over to them. Where would you be? Would you be in the front or would you be in the back? I'm like, Bishop, because he's talking about this bribe that she took, and then he's talking about how the bribe went to, I think, the church's credit union, and then I think her daughter has it, and it's it's still kind of, I guess, kind of in limbo, so to speak. And he was like, the congregation will maintain a majority leadership on the board, or everyone will find out that you took that bribe from Harmony and Hope. I'm like, Bishop, weren't you supposed to just appeal to her reason? But you were not supposed to let her know that you knew that she took the bribe from Harmony and Hope? I'm like, ooh, Lady May is not going to be happy about that, and I was correct. Lady May was not happy. So Bishop is telling Lady May about this, and he said, I tried to impress upon Connie's goodwill. Well, he tried to impress upon Connie, but she did not want to hear it. So May tells him, like, James, tell me you didn't. James, please tell me for the love of God that you did not tell Connie that you knew that she took the bribe from Harmony and Hope. He says, well, exactly what I did. He said, I had no choice, May. He says, I feel like it worked in our favor. And Lady May is like, oh God, James, why would you do that? And she feels like, what, this will be our undoing. I'm like, with a stone cold silver fox that has a bad wig like Connie, just don't know where things are going to fall. So, then we also see May and Bishop in there talking to Grace. So Grace is telling them about this whole situation that's going on with Phil. Lady May tells Grace that she cannot step down and not surrender to Phil. And she tells her, so then, Bishop is asking her, so what is it that Phil has on you anyway? She says, I don't know what it is, but I do somehow believe that Charity is involved with it. And May is like, well, when it comes to Charity, Charity is just basically a lovesick puppy who is a pawn in his little game. So, and then she said, Charity, like I said, Charity won't admit to it, but she believes that this is something that happened the night that AJ came over to the house. But again, like I said, Charity just will not admit to it. And, so May says to Grace, Grace, it sounds like he's guilty. And again, Grace doesn't want to say that AJ is guilty, which we all know AJ is guilty. So she asks her, so what would you do if AJ is guilty? She says, I will step down. And she says, okay, so what would you do if he's innocent? She says that I will stay and fight. And then, Bishop tells May, like, actually, I think he was saying this more so to May, that they don't want to send him back to jail because this time if he goes back to jail, he's going to be in jail for pretty much the rest of his life. And, then May mentions to Bishop, like, I told you to do something with Connie and you didn't do what I said. And Grace is like, Daddy, what did you do? And she said, and then May says to Grace, like, you need to listen to what I say, Grace. She says, so what you need to do on Sunday, you need to go to the church. You need to give your sermon and you need to tell the church what's going on. You need to tell them, because they'll appeal to your your motherly instinct, to protect your child. And then you let them know that Phil is trying to push you out by holding this against you. So then Lady May gets up to leave, and she, Bishop tells Grace, do what is best for your son. And May says, do what is best for your soul. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, Grace, I feel like Grace is gonna do something so stupid. I just feel it in my spirit that she's gonna do something that I'm gonna be like, Grace, why would you do that? I can feel it already. I just feel it. But let's move on, you guys. Okay, so next let's talk about Jacob and Carissa. So we see Jacob. He is getting ready to head and talk to Dante because, things in last week's episode when he talked to Dante about, putting the money into the school didn't go so well because Dante felt like he was just like everybody else coming to him for money. So he didn't tell Carissa that, however. So then, she's pleading with Jacob once again to talk to Lady May and ask her who the house would be left to. He says, that is rude, Carissa, and I'm not going to do it. And, again, she's trying to guilt him and just play on him. He says, you know what? Because she said we need cash. And, need more cash when we're in this house and, trying to get this house. He says, okay, Carissa. He says, because I'm happy here. I'm 100% happy here. She says, well, I'm not. He says, okay, if you're not, then you go talk to Mama and ask her yourself. He says, I'll pray for you. And then as he's leaving out, after he leaves, she gets a call from Fernando. She, ignores the call. So then we later see Carissa. She's talking to May about the house. And May says that, she's talking about how she needs more money in this housing market. And then May says, you know what, Carissa? I had to clean my safe out just to make sure that it was not jacked by my son's wife. And you guys, I forgot to mention that in last week's episode. It was pointed out to me. Thank you so much to the the person who left it in the comments that I did not mention last week, that at the party that Zora's mama, that shout out to Force Props for that one. Carissa went to the safe. She opened the safe. When she opened it, nothing was in the safe. May had cleaned it out. And she said, the Carissa says, well, yeah, my mother-in-law slapped me. Interesting. And, May calls her what she is, desperate and greedy. And she says, she says, when it comes to the house, if you must know, it is left to Jacob, Carissa, well, no, Jacob, Charity, and Grace equally. So it's split equally. So I guess it's 33 and a third. So it's left to them equally. So then we see Jacob. So he met with Dante, and Dante he was trying to apologize to Dante, and Dante was like, you know what, you do not have to apologize to me. He said I was wrong, so I apologize to you. He said I talked to my people, and they were okay with, they were in agreement with this, and he gives Jacob a check. So Jacob opens the check. He's like, oh, I can't accept this. He's like, yes, you can't accept that. He says, what's your wife's name? He says Carissa. He says, okay, get that to Carissa, and maybe you should be out of the doghouse. So then he also asked him, he says, so do you think Carissa would like do a press conference with me? Because he says, for the owners of the team or whoever, in order to get him off the bench, he would have to do something like that. He says, you know what, I'll talk to her and I'll see what we can do. So then we do also see Carissa. She's talking to Grace. And, she says, I would have went to Charity, but I feel that, Charity already has to pay alimony to Kevin. And I think she's still mad at me because I didn't support her with her being AP. And Grace is like, I think she's mad at everybody for that one. So she's just telling Grace how she wants to just move on, and Grace is like, this feels kind of weird and a little bit rushed. And she says, when I married Jacob, since he was the only boy in this house, I always thought that we would always be in this house. But she says, it's just not the case. Me and May, we have so many issues between us. I'm like, well, you've caused those issues, so what are you talking about? So then, Grace asks her how much money does she need. She says $1 million. And Grace is like, $1 million? She said, okay, we'll settle with $500,000. $500,000. Excuse me. Okay, she says, no, we'll take anything over $250,000. I'm like, wait, whoa. What? And then she asked Grace, did she have money? She says, yes. She said, where'd you come into that money from? None of your business, bitch. Mind your business, please. So then we also saw both Jacob and Carissa. They, Carissa, when Jacob got home, she was dressed up in her sexy little, lingerie. And they both have good news for the other. So, we see them having celebratory sex, and I'm just like, I could have done without that. So, once we see them again, and Carissa, she get a phone call from Fernando, and Fernando tells her he has news about the house. She said, we lost the house. He says, no, not that house, the one that you're standing in that you could possibly be the owner of. I said, oh, frick. Like, what is about to happen with this? Like, because if she can get this house, she's going to hold that over Lady May. And I don't want that because it's just something, I'm just ready for Carissa, Charity. Yeah, Carissa and Charity mostly. I'm just ready for Carissa and Charity to get what's coming to them. And it can come in the same fucking episode. I don't care. But we gonna move on, you guys. And then lastly, let's talk about Judy, who's so serious when she acts. So Judy is she's talking to Corinne. She is trying to see, has Corinne printed out the bylaws of the church. And Corinne was like, oh, you know what? Let me get to that. She was like, girl, you said that last week. You also said that yesterday to me. She's like, I need it now. And Corinne was like, but if I leave this website that I'm on, I'm going to lose your concert tickets to Amy, whoever it was. And she said, you got my concert tickets? She says, yes. She said, okay, I want my tickets and I want the bylaws. She's like, okay, gotcha. She said, I'm not going to say thank you until I get it. She says, you're welcome. You're welcome. What is that from? Oh, that Awkward on MTV. So then we see Judy. She's in Phil's office, and she asks, "Well, how are things with you and Charity?" And he says, "Is that why you've been here for the last hour?" And she says, "Nope. I'm waiting on my tickets from Corinne and the bylaws." So he says, well, you know what? Things between me and Charity are going extremely well. And she says to him, you can't really love Charity, can you? He says, because she says, because we're nothing alike. He says, actually, you're more alike than you know you think you are. She's like, oh, is that so? He says, yes. She says, well, how? He says, well, you both are daughters of powerful men who feel that they never got the respect that they deserve. And then you both can be quite noisy when you don't get your way. And she's like, oh, you missed out. You left out one little kind of detail. I was like, what detail is that? I knew what detail it was that she was trying to say. She says, because she's black. I said, I knew it. You're jealous that he's with a black woman and not with you. But okay. I just knew that it was a black thing for her. So then he says, he says that Charity is a person he cares about, and she'll be a big part of helping run the church once Grace is gone. And she's like, when Grace is gone, what does that mean? He says, you know what, don't worry about that. And then she says, let's have dinner, the three of us. I'm like, you, him, and Charity. Have dinner. Okay, if you say so. So then she also says on her way out, she says, what makes you so certain that Grace won't be the long-term pick? He says, I just have a feeling about that one. So then we do see Phil. He's telling Charity about the dinner that Judy wants to have, and how she can help them with Bob, for her to be AP. So she's like, so wait, Bob has the final say so. And he says, you know what, Charity, just trust me, believe in me, and we're just trying to make sure we have all our bases covered. And she asks, well, does she have any idea about Grace? He says no, and I want to keep it that way, so that way once Bob does find out, it's too late so that he can't intervene and try to make changes. Try to make sure that doesn't happen. So then we do see Connie, Judy, and Phil. So they're in I think they're in Phil's office. And, Connie is telling them that, they need to remand the motion to expand the deacon board. And they were like, well, why? And she says, because James, no. And then Judy was like, oh, so is he blackmailing you? She says, he is blackmailing me. And if we don't give him what he wants, he will tell, everyone that I accepted the bribe. So, she tells them they can't split the vote, and it has to be that the board now has to hold the majority. And they were like, so what do we have to amend the motion to? She says 60-40. So then, Judy goes to Corinne. She says, you're fired. And she goes into Grace's office, and she tries to go off on Grace. And Grace is like, girl, what are you talking about? And Judy finally realizes that Grace doesn't know anything. She's like, oh, nothing. And walks out. So then we get this awkward three-way dinner with Phil, Judy, and Charity. So Charity's like, oh, Phil, he's such a people pleaser. She says, don't I know? And Charity's like, wait a minute, what do you mean, don't I know? And she says, you know what, how did you two meet? She says, I know how you two met, but how did you two really meet? Like in the church? And again, she's like, whoa, what did you mean by you know that all too well he pleases people? Like, what does that mean? And Phil's like, we've known each other for 20 years. She's like, somebody to tell me something, I'm gonna get this knife and be like a ninja around here. And she says, oh my God, so she doesn't know? He says, no, she doesn't know. You knew that. She did know that, and she was playing a big game with you. So then we see Charity and Phil, and they are leaving the dinner, and things are quiet between them. And then, Phil tells her, what, Charity, it was a long time ago, and it was nothing, and we've still managed to be friends even after it. And then he gives Charity a key to his apartment. I'm like, aw, isn't that so sweet? Not really. So he tells her, he can't see himself doing anything without her. I'm like, aw, again, isn't that sweet? No. And he tells her he loves her. I'm like, oh my God. Two dumb fools in love with each other. That's smart. So then we lastly see Judy. So Judy goes to Phil's office. She apologizes to him. He says, what, I was able to put out the fire that the fire that you tried to start. And, she said, what, When I got my tickets from Corinne and I was reading the bylaws, I noticed in the bylaws that it states that the most senior Greenleaf employee can cast a tie-breaking vote if if there's a needs to be a tiebreaker with the board. So she says, we need her, and I need you to keep her happy. And I'm like, oh my God, so it's gonna come down to this dumbass food charity. God help me. God. So, she says, we can have those 10 seats, and the other side of the board can have those 12, but we'll still have Connie on our side, and we'll be in the majority. But again, it's all gonna come down to charity. And I'm like, what the hell? So then we end the episode. So the episode ends at, Calvary. It's Sunday. They're going to service, and Grace gets up to, give her sermon, and she tells the congregation what page of the Bible to go to. So then she's getting ready to preach, and the doors open, and who walks in? AJ, which stops Grace dead in her tracks. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is Grace gonna do? And even May was in there like, oh no, what is she gonna do? And what does Grace do? Grace tells them that this is her last Sunday preaching there, that she's resigning. I said, oh my God, are you joking with me? You're, what? You're resigning? Almost gave me a heart attack, you guys. But that was the episode. So be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button, share the video, and I will see you guys later. If I left anything out, I hope I did not leave anything out this week. Leave it in the comment section below, and we'll discuss it. So I will see you guys later.